I love that song. Don't you want to be like that? Anyway, I want to tell you a little background on that song because it's a good story for all of us. It was written by, now a Dr. Kent Keith, and he wrote it when he was a sophomore at Harvard University. And when he was... Something's not hooked in right. There we go. Okay. Better. See? Do it anyway. Fix the problem right there. Anyway, when he was a sophomore at Harvard University, and he loved student government, and in high school he was very involved in student government, and he wanted to really help leaders develop dynamic qualities of leadership. And so he wrote his first booklet at that time when he was a sophomore, and it was called The Silent Revolution, Dynamic Leadership in the Student Council. And now these times were turbulent, a little bit like now, but in the 60s, and there were student riots going on, and there were rocks thrown at the police, and people shouting and yelling, and they were really difficult riots trying to make change. And he found that the students really didn't know how to make positive change in a good way. And they would often try, to do a good thing, and then they'd get defeated. And if there was any failure or disappointment, they'd stop trying. So he wrote this leadership book, and in this leadership book, he had the paradoxical commandments. And people are illogical, unreasonable, and self-centered. Love them anyway. If you do good, people will accuse you of a selfish, ulterior motive. Do good anyway. If you are successful, you will win false friends and true enemies. Do good anyway. Succeed anyway. The good you do today will be forgotten tomorrow. You know the answer. Do good anyway. Honesty and frankness make you vulnerable. Be honest and frank anyway. What you spend years building may be destroyed overnight. Build anyway. People really need your help, and they may attack you if you help them. Help them anyway. Give the world the best you have, and you may get kicked in the teeth. But give the world your best anyway. Dr. Keith wrote these from the two commandments of Jesus. Love God with all your heart, your soul, your mind, and love others as yourself. He wanted to teach how to really be a good person in the world because he realized these students needed a deeper, a bigger reason to do the right thing anyway. To know you've always given life your best. Well, several years later, in fact in 1997, he was at a Rotary meeting. And Rotary meetings would start with a prayer or a thought for the day. And one of the Rotarians got up and said, well, I'm sure most of you know Mother Teresa recently died. And I want to read a poem that she wrote that was on the wall in her orphanage in Calcutta. And this is in honor of her. I found this in a book I read about her life. And sure enough, this fellow got up and read Dr. Keith's paradoxical commandments. He said his body was just filled with chills. We never know how far the good we give from that place, how far it goes, how many it touches. And he was just filled with the chills. He loved Mother Teresa. He was in awe. And to think that his words were on the wall of her orphanage was just almost more than he could handle at that time. And he found out the name of the book and found out they thought she'd written it because it was right there, right when you walked in the orphanage on a big poster were his paradoxical commandments. Do good anyway. I think that's really what we all want to do. I mean, we want harmony and balance in our life, right? How many of you have done good anyway this week? Okay, good. And how many of you have been negative and cranky and critical and difficult? Oh, come on, we all have. Because if we haven't, we're still here. We're still learning. We're still growing. We cannot live a choiceless life. And our choices stem from our whole self. They stem from all of us. Some of them stem from the collective consciousness of everything that's marinated in fear and anger and blame and finger pointing. And I don't know what I'd do without my spiritual practices and my spiritual truth and knowing. But the other is based on our spiritual knowing that life is inherently good, and that each and every one of us, no matter how we're expressing ourselves, are all a piece of that divinity, a unique expression, So if we're on this journey of awakening and awareness to be able to be at that place where we can truly see another and see the face of God, where we can truly look at a situation, a challenge, a difficulty, and know there's a solution inherent in everything. We want to get to that place, and it takes focus, discipline, deliberate choice. And first and foremost, it's recognizing that we have free will, that we are here to choose, that our thoughts, our choices are powerful, and they make a difference, and we are so much more powerful than we know. We are so much more powerful than we understand. Now, to think about making powerful choices, I saw a picture of the cross. And the cross isn't something I look at and think of crucifixion, although there are things we have to crucify in our life to make this a balance. But for me, it's about aligning the divinity and humanity within us, about getting that alignment, that place within us where we can truly live as divinely powered, inspired humans, because our highest choices, our most powerful choices are powered by Spirit. And we need to be able to be in that place where we realize we have that power available. We have it available. But it's a learning process. And, God so loves us. Spirit so loves us. We get all these opportunities to see where we aren't empowered. Do you know what I mean? We get so many opportunities to see where we're making difficult choices because they keep reminding us over and over again, didn't do it quite right. How many of you have watched yourself be difficult, or negative, or demanding, or needy? We watch ourselves, and that's the first step. We need to be able to watch ourselves being that way to know there's another choice to make. We need to know there's something more we can strive for. But as soon as we watch ourselves, we need to get to that place where we can not react, where we cannot take action on that. We can just hold back and think, now what would a really self-empowered person do if I were that? How would I want to be, being fueled and inspired by Spirit? What would love do in this situation? Howard Thurman, the beautiful theologian, said, we choose and determine what to do with our experiences. You and I get to choose. We get to choose how we're going to handle a situation. Now, sometimes this is about our perspective about what life is about. If we believe life is inherently good, we'll have a way different choice than if we're still carrying a lot of baggage from our past and feel that we're a victim or suffering. And we can choose to suffer if we want, but it all depends on our perception. If the same experience happens to you and to me and different people, we'll all have different reactions and perceptions of it. Some people take an experience and their perception is it's like this disruptive wave in their life, and they let it tear everything apart. We might equate that to a bunch of drama. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Some of us might look at that same experience as just ripples in a pond, part of the experience of life. It's going to really decide how we act and react. Would you agree that just how we look at a situation determines how we act or react? And we're at choice. Now, there is a problem in our world today, which I think you'll all agree, is we have so many choices that we can get paralyzed. Just go to the grocery store. Just look at the salad dressings. I mean, and we might get the wrong one. And if we get one, we think, well, I didn't get the right one. I could have gotten a better one. And life becomes this serious, that's salad dressing. But the bigger choices, there's so many choices that we can become paralyzed in this world and not be able to make choices because, wow, we might get it wrong. And we suffer. But on that same note, that we might suffer, you and I, when we power up and realize that we have the power and the choice to make better choices, that there's something way more for us, way more help than we realize, and even choices about salad dressing, we can get help. There is no size in the mind of God. Whatever we want to ask will be helped. But I want you to think right now, it's really cute. In our car, we can, shift gears. We can be in a low gear. We can be in a higher gear. I even have a sport gear. I love that gear. You just push a little surge of power. I love that thing. I shouldn't have shown my 12-year-old grandson that, though. Sandy, let's do sport. No, not now. Too many cars around. Anyway, we get to do that with our brains. We get to be in the high gear or the low gear. We choose. We can go deep in spirit, or we can live on that surface of life and get bounced around. When we're in that low gear, it's when ego, our humanity's talking. It's when there's fear and anger and negativity and jealousy and all the things we've experienced this week. But it's there, but we can make a choice to go deeper. And that deeper choice, I want you to think, thoughts are energy, little packets of energy. Our thoughts are energetic. We live in an energetic circular universe, and what we put out there comes back. We know that. So these are little packets of energy, every thought we have. And when we get a general tendency in our thinking, whether it's good or bad, it's really going to control our lives until we change it. But when we go to that place of higher frequency where there's love and goodness and kindness, I want you to think about it. Think about the energy when you're happy and when you're sad. Which has the higher frequency? When you're feeling creative or stuck? When you're feeling motivated or apathetic? Think of the energy level that we have within us and how we can change that by the choices we make. We can change it by the choices. So I want you to think right now, where in your life could you make a better choice? Where could you change your energy from a low energy to an empowered energy? And we're going to do a little process there. Because so often, even when you're thinking, oh, how do I build myself up? I can't get out of this place. Have you ever been there in the last hour? We don't know what to do. We say, I just don't know what to do. I don't know how to make a difference here. I don't know what to do, what to choose. A choice, I can't even be there. But we need to know, number one, without question, there's a place within us that knows. There's a power, there's an intelligence, whatever you call it, God, creative intelligence, infinite spirit, it doesn't matter. It's a place within us that is untouched by any of the human conditions, and it's that spark of divinity that's right here. There's a place within us that knows. And we have to be willing and available. We have to be willing and available to be guided and led. Okay? And we can soften ourselves. I'll tell you, there's ways to soften yourselves to prepare for this. Lynn McTaggart wrote a book on our intentions and the power of our thought to change our lives and to change our world. And she said, these thoughts, scientific studies for 30 years have shown these thoughts are so powerful, not just for ourselves, but these thoughts have power to change ourselves and things around us. What we look at, we have an effect upon, like a moto in the water, the feelings that the water could sense. But if we realize the power of our thought right now, we can soften it. And she said in her book, if you immediately think of gratitude, what a way to enter that place of stillness. And that's what to do. When we hit these, I don't know what to do points, we want to get to that place of stillness. So I'm going to invite you right now to just take a nice deep breath, close your eyes, just unravel yourself so you're open and available. And number one, know there's a power within each and every one of us. Not some people, all people, everywhere, anywhere, always, forever. There's a place within us that knows. And be grateful for knowing that. Be grateful that we are spiritually awake enough to recognize and know there's a power in us greater than this situation, any situation, a power that knows. And prepare yourself with gratitude. Prepare yourself with letting go and making space to know what's highest and best in this moment. There's a power in us that is continually guiding and directing us to our greatest good. Feel that. And if there's a question, a choice in your own life right now, whether it be with work, with relationships, with family, with finances, with health, whatever it might be, with creative expression, just know right now there's a place within you that knows what is highest and best for you right now, recognizing and knowing as you open up to your greatest yet to be, it opens a space for others to do exactly the same. So in this circle of life, recognizing as we open to letting God be God in, through, and as us, as we allow that, the answer will become clear. It may become clear instantaneously. It may take time, but we need to have the space open to be that cross bringing divinity and humanity together in us, that we may make powerful choices for our good and for the good of the world. Take a nice deep breath. If you've gotten your answer, say thank you. If you've prepared the way, say thank you. If you're just open, say thank you. Thank you. There's been a shift in this moment in consciousness, and there's an answer to everything available. So being prepared and available in that moment, I'm just going to ask you a question. This was the challenge that Dr. Keith gave his students, the paradoxical challenge. If someone is difficult and unloving in your life this week, what are you going to do? Huh? What? Love them anyway. Let's try that again. So if somebody in your life is difficult, unlovable, and trying, what are you going to do? Love them. Right, okay. And if you know someone is dishonest and difficult, what are you going to be? Honest anyway. Okay, don't lower yourself to anything else. Don't lower yourself. And this one I'm going to have to give you the answer to because it's not anyway, but you know, the true answer is the whole relationship we have in life is our relationship between us and God. And if everyone is a reflection of God, when we build that relationship, everywhere we look, we're going to see the face of God. So when you walk out this door today and see people all around you, wherever they are, what are you going to see? The face of God. Oh, you got that one. Thank you. You've made my day. So let's join together in just a short little prayer and just know in this moment that right where we are, the power and presence of God, of love, of good, of creative expression, of unbelievable joy and miracles and blessings and abundance are here right now in this moment. Nothing we need to do but be open to set our intention on what is right and good and true, and know that we are in this beautiful circle of life, that what we put out there returns to us, maybe not in the same way, but in the same energetic field. And we are here to be open and available to good, to blessings, to possibilities, to joy, to wonder. And as we allow that for ourselves, we know it for others. Because true spirituality is not wanting more for ourselves, but it's holding good for ourselves and knowing it for everyone, becoming this circle, this family of life. Know that we are here together to grow in love, to grow in light, to grow in goodness, and what we do and who we are matters. It matters right now. It matters always. How blessed we are in all of this. And we'll seal this deal by simply saying together, and so it is. Thank you for being part of my circle of life. I truly love and care for each and every one of you, and so it is.